It looks like it's recording. Yep. All right, so we're gonna go ahead and get started since it's already a little bit after. Thank you everyone for coming on. Again, I just appreciate you guys taking the time to take a look at how, again, I'm not a professional. I'm just letting you guys know what I personally am doing with my own team and how I'm trying to help simplify this as much as possible, because now that you have your Epic business, a lot of people ask me, like, what do I do now? They're so excited, they're ready to do this. And so it's like, what do you start with and what do you do first? And so what I go ahead and do is I like to do what I call, I actually did a challenge around this at one point where I said, we did a contest for it where we had people try to meet a 24-hour quick start is what I basically was calling it. And what I was wanting to do is I was basically trying to get people to think about what they wanted to do for their DMO. And so what I'm going to do, since we're recording this, I'm going to ask that if you could mute your line, and then I'll go ahead and unmute you later if you have questions at the end, if that's okay. So we're going to go ahead and get into this. What is a DMO? So for those of you who are new and don't know what that means, that is your daily method of operation. So basically what it is that you want to come up with a routine of things that you do every single day to grow your business, even if it's just a little bit. Now, everyone has different targets that they want to hit with their business, and that's completely okay. Maybe it's just you're getting, enough customers to pay for your product. Maybe you really want to grow this business and you want to go big and you want to learn how to, do that, which is completely fine as well. Wherever you are in your business or whatever your goals or your target are, they are completely fine, but everyone should have a DMO. They should have what they want to do in their business a little bit each day. So everyone's might look different, but everyone should have one. So what I recommend for the people who join my team specifically is when I meet with them and I kind of set up a phone call or we'll do like maybe FaceTime or messenger chat. I will set up with them and say, this is what I challenge you to try to do in the next 24 hours, just so they kind of have a guideline of where they should be. Because a lot of people have never done this before. And that's what's so awesome about this company is you don't have to be some big network marketer to do this. We are literally just sharing an amazing product that could possibly change people's lives. So when I talk with them, I'm talking from people who've done different network marketing companies to people who've never ever done anything in their life in sales. So what I try to tell them is that this is the main things I want you to focus on when you come into this, because it's super overwhelming. Like I have a little cheat sheet that I send to them, and I always start off by saying, don't panic. I'm going to send you this information. Save it on your phone somewhere because you're going to need this information later. Then after I get that all the way and I've added them to all the groups that we need to have them in, this is where I go back to and I say, all right, so this is what I want you guys to focus on. Inside the next 24 hours, I want you to set up your Linktree. And once you do that, because that is literally going to be like your main go-to for sharing with people who are interested in stuff. So I want that to be, see if I can mute people. Sorry, guys. Hold on here just a second. Somebody isn't muted. I think it's taken care of, hopefully. Okay, so let's go back. So, okay, sorry about that, guys. So inside this, like I said, so we want to set up the Linktree, and that is a really good tool because you're going to find people that aren't necessarily on Facebook or social media. And because I strongly believe, I tell you guys all the time that the big thing that I want my team to focus on, and you guys all in a whole, is that it's about sharing. We're not selling, we're sharing. And so I don't know about you guys, but you never ever have like, I feel like I go to even the grocery store and you hear somebody say, oh my gosh, I just feel so tired today, or I have gut issues, or this or that. So by making sure that you have that Linktree available, saved somewhere on your phone, it's so quick to be able to shoot somebody a text message, to quickly share with them that, and it's like all of your information in one place. And so setting up your Linktree is the first thing I tell them to do, and we'll go into that a little bit more. Adding 5 new social media friends is the next thing I tell them to do. And then I tell them to prospect 5 new people, follow up with 5 people, and then post a testimonial on social media. So I'll break it down a little bit each level when we go, but that's the overall what I want them to focus on is this is where I want you guys to be at when you're looking at how you're going to move forward from like day 1 in the first 24 hours. So then what I want them to do is I want them to set up a Linktree. So I will tell them to go ahead and go to this website at Linktree. It's super simple to set up. You can go ahead and set up a free account, or you can go ahead and I'll show you mine here in a second. You can pay $6 and you can do the upgrade and choose your colors and customize. It's so easy. You literally click on that link or go to that link, set up an account. It'll ask you for a username, a password, and then it'll ask you like 3 groups that your business falls under. That's just simply for them to keep track of who's using their program. I personally usually just choose brand, health and wellness, and independent business, small business. And then you click on the next, it's like really self-explanatory. And then you set that all up. And then what I tell them is that they can do one of 2 things. They can either contact me and I'll send them a Word document that has all the links that can simply be dropped into their link tree. And then they can do it that way, or I will help them set it up, one of the 2, because I really believe that this is one of the first things that has to happen in order for them to have success in their business. Because otherwise they can share the simplified link that the company gives them, but this one is just a much nicer format, and you'll notice that as we go through the next screen of why I think that. So this is what mine looks like. Everyone can do theirs differently. The Word document that I send them is going to have the links exactly how it is here. So this is what it looks like for me. Yours will look different. There's like a generic version of it that Linktree does, but it basically is like a, everything is all in one place. And so you can go ahead, and Mike did a really good video that they can look over with the 3-day system. There's a handful of testimonials. Now, even though they have testimonials on here, I cannot stress enough that it's still very important that you place your people in the Facebook group if they are on Facebook, because that has so many more. And then that way it'll just basically like drip on them constantly, because they'll get notifications, it'll show up in their feed. So even though you have them here, and this is great to have a handful, always still put them in that 100% Epic group. And so you can go through these and, and click on each one, and they'll take you to where you need to be. I like this personally because if you send them just to the general website for you, then there's a lot of in-between pages that they have to click, and sometimes people don't want to do that. So just when they want to buy as a customer, it just drops them right in the shopping cart to go ahead and get it done. So the power of 5. And it's funny because as I was writing this, I thought about it, because right now with us doing a team challenge where we want, people to stride for 5, that's what we're focusing on. So I think 5 is a good number. And the reason why I say that is because 5 people each day in this format, 30 minutes is realistic. So if you want to actually do this more than just a couple customers, or even just a couple customers is what you're going for, you should be setting aside at least 30 minutes in your day to work your business. Obviously, again, depending on your goals or your targets, you can go as far as you want with this, but adding 5 new social media friends, like I was saying, where you can get those 5 friends from is that you can use your suggested friends list, and that can go ahead and you can find people that you have friends in common with. You can use maybe groups that you were part of. I did a social media training, so you can definitely go over that as well inside the Epic Rockstars group, and I can go into deeper detail for you. But you want to be growing your network always. So that's why it's so important that in this 30-minute time frame, and honestly, it could be a lot less time. It just depends on how fast you can do it. So I just say, to be safe, can you put away 30 minutes of every day? It can be any part of your day that you want to do. But if you can go ahead and do that, add 5 new social media friends. And then on top of that, I want you to prospect 5 new people. And we're going to go into exactly how I prospect and how I do my contacts with people. Those people that you prospect can come from your list of 100. If you haven't heard of that, I recommend that when people start their business, when I'm talking with them about it, I'm like, you know what? Write a list of 100. It may not be 100, but try to strive for that. And when I'm talking that, think about, don't prejudge. Start with your ride or dies, the people that you think that would absolutely benefit from this, your family members, your friends, like the people, and just start writing down names. And so between that, if you just absolutely get stumped and can't figure out who you want to prospect, then I recommend that you go ahead and take a look at your Facebook friends. And there's a way where you can actually sort your list, newest or oldest friends first. And then you just go through, no prejudging, just choose 5 and then send them out the scripts that we're going to go over here in a second. And so then what I recommend is that they follow up. If they're already like, maybe they jumped into this and they're doing it, because I told you guys this is kind of like a 24-hour mind frame. But once we get that DMO in place and you've got your 30 minutes set aside every day, then you're going to get to a point where you're going to have people that you actually need to follow up with, because you've been contacting these 5 people. And so now it's about follow-up. So important to do the follow-up portion of it. And then the last step that I tell them to do is post a testimonial on social media. I know this freaks people out every time I say it, but I cannot stress enough about how important it is. I know a lot of people go ahead and build their teams offline, and that's okay too. But especially with COVID and just everything going on right now. There's a lot of people that are in front of their computers, and I can't stress enough how much that's changed my business personally, being on social media. Now, I know that those who follow me will be like, okay, Heather, I can't do a live like you do every day. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying that just make sure that you post something on there. So whether it be your own personal testimonial, because I'll tell you what, those are powerful. When it's your actual testimonial you're putting out there. I know it takes a lot of vulnerability to do that, but you will be amazed with the response that you get when people see what it's actually doing for you personally. But if not, then go ahead and grab something from the 100% Epic group and just make sure that you post it on there. But those are the things that I try to tell people within the first 24 hours is that I want you guys to go ahead and set up your Linktree. Go ahead and make 5 new friends. Go ahead and reach out to 5 prospects. And then of course, depending on where you are, you can do the follow-up if that's what it is. But that needs to be your DMO that you get in the habit of doing every day. And then make sure you're posting. Because nothing is worse than that person who posts once and then you don't see them post for a while because you don't even know if they're still involved in that company. So the fortune is always in the follow-up and making sure that you're doing this stuff because you're going to follow up and use those as ways to for leads for prospecting. So this is what I do. So if I was on the phone with you right now and we were on a FaceTime, I would say, okay, I'm going to pretend, in this case, I'll say Sherry. Sherry, this is what you're going to go ahead and do is that this is how simple it can be. Is that for my initial prospecting, there is also a website I'll share at the end that has others, but this is my personal how I do it. And I share with the team and say, okay, you can take this format, and this is literally what I'll do is I'll pick someone off my friends list, or I'll sort it, or however way, or maybe I just saw somebody post something about not feeling good or sick, and I'll reach out to them and I'll say exactly this. Super simple, hey, hope you're doing well. And then I tell them, ask them if I could go ahead and add them to this Facebook group that's helped me and with these things. And then I drop this picture. The reason why I purposely picked this picture is because I don't want to focus on just strictly weight loss. For me personally, I want it to be about gut health, on overall health and nutrition, not just weight loss. Because otherwise, I feel like you're setting them up for disaster because if they don't get that instantaneous weight loss, then they're going to be disappointed. So I always talk about weight stabilization and talk about how this has helped me with all my autoimmune diseases. So you kind of blanket all categories, not just weight loss. And so this one talks about Hashimoto's and lupus, as well as it does show that she lost some weight. So this is my go-to script that I go to. I know Michael has some other great ones on there too, but this is basically how I do it. So this is the first thing I do. I just pick my people, I send this out, and I don't prejudge anybody. I just send it out and I wait for them to tell me no. So then if I get a yes and somebody says, oh yes, please add me. Anything, a yes, a thumbs up, any kind of comment that's positive besides a ghosting and a no, I will then say sounds perfect. And what I will do is I'll go ahead and I'll add them to the 100% Epic group, which is our testimonial group. And I let the group do the selling because I'm not a selling, I'm just a sharing. And so they will go and look in the group and I'll drop the link as well. And this is covered on my social media training as well, but I will go ahead and drop the link and tell them exactly this, just real quick. In the first one, I'll drop and say, here's a link to the group I added you to. Depending on who I'm talking to and how much time I have on my hands, sometimes I'll go ahead and shoot them a voice clip because sometimes it makes it feel more personable. And I'll be like, hey, Jane, so here's the link, like I said, that I added you to the group. There's some amazing things in there. You can go ahead and check out the progress pictures or use the magnifying glass up in the top right corner and search for specific topics. If you have any questions at all, feel free to ask me, but there's just some amazing stuff in there. Sometimes it'll be that simple. If I already know they have an issue and they maybe came off of one of my posts where they're asking me about how wonderful things were working for me, then maybe I'll go, hey, and because I am comfortable with it, I may go into a little more detail and say, I think that this could really benefit you because, and then I'll tell them the purple pill does this, the white pill does this, just however comfortable you are is how you can, go ahead and approach them. But that's kind of what I do. But simplistically, it's just add them to the group. And then the next thing I tell them is, like I said, this is plant-based, and I drop them my link. And I let them know that there's, a few ways to get a hold of me and, to get the product if that's what they want to do. So then, if they come back to me and they say, oh my gosh, it was amazing, I want to buy. So you just move right into, okay, well, let me help you out. Do you need help? Ask them if they have any questions. Maybe sometimes I'll shoot them a picture of the product so that they make sure they're ordering the right thing, and just double checking to make sure they have the link because I don't want them to Google search that. But let's say they don't respond. They acted excited, then all of a sudden they're gone. It happens to all of us. And so then what I do is my first follow-up is I just keep it super simple. And I ask them, you know, what they thought about, not necessarily the group, but isn't there some crazy testimonials in there? You can word it however way it works for you personally and whatever style you have. This is how I talk. So if I look at somebody and say, isn't that crazy? That is something I would say to them if I was in person with them. So I leave it very simple and I leave it question formatted with just one question. I don't want to be like, oh, did you see this? Did you see that? What do you think about this? No, one thing. Crazy testimonials in there, isn't it? This will usually prompt a response and they'll say, yeah, or oh my gosh, yeah, or oh, hey, I didn't get a chance to look at it yet. No worries is my position always. Is like not at all, because it really isn't. It's not, I'm not trying to pressure them. I'm just checking in with them to do the first follow-up. So then what I'll do at that point is if they say, yes, is this, you know, is this real? Is this, whatever questions they have, I'll answer all the questions and be like, all right. And then I'll say, and here's the link again. And I'll drop the link again if I have to make sure they have it front and center to go ahead and purchase. And then we'll go from there. So let's say they don't respond to this. And so I get ghosted and there's no response. And so we've all been there, but yes, I get ghosted and I'm thinking, oh my gosh, I'm going to unfriend them. We're done. It's over between us. We done. No, that's not what you want to do, because all of us have lives and it happens. And so what I do is I simply just ask them, hey, and let them know it's okay to say, you know, they changed their mind. So you can, of course, this is how I talk. So this is exactly why I did it this way, but you can be more formal or less formal or however we want to do it. But I basically just give them an out and say, hey, if you changed your mind, that's fine. But I am just basically checking back because I provide exceptional customer service. And I just want to make sure that, you know, you don't have any other questions. This again will usually prompt a response, because then they'll either be like, oh my gosh, Heather, I'm so sorry. I didn't check. I'm sorry. I meant to, but I didn't get to it yet. Again, no worries. They just go on my list and I'll follow up with them later in a few days. You can determine how often you want to follow up with people, you know, depending on what kind of relationship you have with them and what kind of people they are. If you know they're only on Facebook once a month or once a week, then, you know, you can go ahead and adjust accordingly. But usually I'll send that first one asking about the testimonials within 24 to 48 hours after I put them in the group. Then, so let's play devil's advocate and say they ghosted me, they didn't respond, they're not doing nothing. They just kind of left it. Or maybe they were super excited. They told me they're going to buy. I was going to go ahead and just celebrate that day because they were in, and then nothing happened, because it happens. So then I will go ahead and reach back out to them and say this to them. I'll go out and just ask for the referral at that point and say, hey, you know what? And I don't tell them that they're not interested forever. I just say that maybe you're not interested right now. And so, because a lot of no's are just no for now. So I will follow up and put the first comment. And then what will happen is that, again, usually it'll trigger some kind of response from them. And then my response to them will be the second one where it says, thank you so much. And I drop the link tree again. Now, some people might be like, gosh, that's a lot of dropping the link tree. You're just kind of shoving it up in their face. And it's like, no, it's because when people are in a situation, they may not ask you for that link again. They'll just go Google search it instead, because they know what the name is now. They know what they're looking for possibly. They know enough to be dangerous, and then they're going to end up on the wrong site. So I do that for a few reasons, because I tell them to go ahead and share it with their family. But a big percentage of the time, they're going to click on it themselves. And then I've ended up getting a sell, because somewhere along the line, as I was checking back in with them, it was just planting that seed. And now they're like, wait a minute, I want to see what she's doing in here. And they'll click on it. So with that being said, so this is this page for more prospecting information, but basically that's what I go over with each of my people. I try to keep it super simple. I know that I'm talking a lot right now, but like when I'm going through them really quickly, I don't want them to panic. So I tell them not to think they have to remember all this, that they have to take notes, but that this is the general format. And so then I just reiterate to them again, set up your link tree, go prospect or go make 5 new friends, go prospect 5 people, and then make a post. If you can get in the habit of doing that every single day, that it'll get to the point where it'll be like breathing for you. Like you'll wake up and maybe that's your morning routine, that you do it in the morning. Maybe when you sit down at the end of your day after you worked your day job, you'll sit down and take a few minutes to roam through Facebook. It'll click to you that this is what you want to do, is you want to do these things. And so the reason why I recommend that is because if we always wait until the time that's great to go prospect, or the time that works really well for me to go prospect, if you're going to always have stuff coming up that's going to get in the way. So if you can tell yourself mentally that you're going to put aside this little bit of time each day, that you can take it from more than 5. I mean, I tell you guys all the time, I don't expect you guys to do like how I do, but it's not unusual for me to do like 30 to 50 people in a day. But that's because it's a numbers game and I want to make sure I'm getting as many people as possible. Some days I don't do that. I mean, but majority, I'm so programmed now, it's like breathing to me that I am doing it when I don't even realize I'm doing it anymore. So just figure out what it is that works for you and stick with it. And then I know it'll get like, we have all these groups and all these other ways that you guys can, you know, check into things. And I know it can feel overwhelming, but I just reassure everybody that you guys, this is really what it's all about, is if you can just focus on those 4 little things, as well as making sure just basically retell your face off. Talk to everybody about it. Don't be scared. Don't prejudge. I mean, again, some of these you'll recognize from my social media training, but that's the best thing I can tell you guys is that, maybe you feel scared because it's 24 hours and you don't know about the product and you haven't got the product and you want to wait for your experience, and that's fine too. But you'll be surprised how many people just want to try it because you're trying it. And it's something, that's what the group is so great about, the 100% Epic group, is using that to help build that, you know, that experience for them that doesn't necessarily require you having one, because everybody's going to have a different experience. And even though it may not work for you exactly the way you want, it could be something that they needed and it worked fabulous for them. So I know that some people feel comfortable with reaching out to their uplines and asking for help, and some don't. And so I know that for me, I do participate in 3-way chats. And so sometimes that helps people feel a little more at ease. So if that's something they need to do, that's something that can also help. And then again, just utilizing the groups until you feel comfortable. And, you know, I don't think that anyone ever just feels like, wakes up one morning and says, I'm ready to go do this. Like, I'm gonna go sell to everybody because I feel so confident today. That does not happen. I do that even, like, oh, do I really want to touch my chicken list today? But you just got to go for it. And so I hope that that helps you guys just kind of get in there in the mind frame, get your DMO down. And again, same thing I said in social media, you guys walk around posture, because you guys are doing amazing things. And you're going to get people even while you're prospecting. And it might be hard because maybe you reach out to 5 people and 5 people are like, I'm not into your pyramid scheme. And it's going to feel like, okay, and then you don't want to do it again because it didn't feel good. Or you might get 5 people go, holy cow, how do I do this? And it's going to be that roller coaster every single day. And all I can say is that you just got to decide that you want to do this every day, because there's so much potential for this just to be amazing. So just walk with posture, know that what you have to offer is great. And like I always tell you guys, act like it's your favorite taco booth that you want to share with everybody, because you just really don't know who's looking for this. So hopefully that helps you guys. And there's, like I said, there's other scripts that you guys can use at powerhourscripts.com that Michael set up as well. But those were my main go-tos that just try to make it as simple as possible. And then, like I said, there's a social media training separately if you guys want to know more about that. And then other than that, that's pretty much what I share with them. So hopefully that was beneficial for somebody. And then I'm going to stop sharing my screen. And then if you guys have any other questions, I can answer that. But otherwise, that's pretty much it.
That was great.
Thank you.
I loved it. Very clear, very simple, you know, just the basics to get people started. That was awesome.
Yes,
Love
thank
it.
you.
Love
Thank
it.
you. That's why I told you, you probably knew all this already, but it's for those of just hopping on, your brand new people on your team. And a lot of people are too afraid to ask. You know, they don't want to sound stupid, and they don't want to seem like when everybody else is nodding their head like they know, they don't want to be the one person that says, could you repeat that? Or I don't know what you're talking about. So that's why I always welcome them just to reach out, and they're not expected to remember all of it because it's impossible to. So anyways, thanks guys. I try to keep it brief so that way when Michael has to cut this down later for me, down to a 3-minute video that he likes to do. So that's it.
Great job. Thanks for doing it, girl.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm going to take off the recording now, and you guys have a great night.
You too.
You too.